computer. It's a practical guide to super... Oops. 1, 2, 3. It's a practical guide to supernatural genius. And won't you come inside and listen to our story? Maybe it's just like your story too. Maybe it's all things that you've been through. It's a practical guide to supernatural genius. The podcast. Episode 2 with Donna De Lory, a healer, a singer. Give us your bio, Donna. What do you consider yourself to be?
Wow, my bio?
I guess that's what podcasts do, right?
Well, I don't have it in front of me, but actually when I looked up my name and got using AI, it gave the best description of my music, because I come from a family. My dad was a musician and was a producer, so I grew up in the studios, and I started singing when I was 8 professionally, doing commercials and sessions. I was like this LA session kid, and then so I was always in studios, and I always knew I could sing. Moved to Nashville when I was 16. My dad was producing me country gospel, because I definitely was already
major league player in the music industry.
My dad, yeah. Al De Lory. So he's part of the Wrecking Crew, Phil Spector's Wrecking Crew, and he played on the Beach Boys' legendary albums. And my dad produced all of Glenn Campbell's hits and everything. So we moved to Nashville, and I'd gotten on a spiritual path. I started going to this Church of Religious Science, and it was natural. I was doing gospel and inspirational music, so my dad was producing me with that. I recently found the tapes, the reel-to-reels from when I was 15, 16. It's pretty funny. So I'm trying to get those transferred. But then I was also a dancer, and I wanted to act and do the whole thing. So I moved back to LA a couple years later, started auditioning, working really hard, ended up being a big demo singer. I did all these demos. I ended up doing a demo for the song Open Your Heart, which ended up being a hit for Madonna. That got to her management, got to her producer, Pat Leonard, and then he started really hiring me to sing on a lot of records, with Fee Waybill and Ray Parker Jr. and Carly Simon, all these people, and everything just kind of accelerated for me at that point. And then Madonna was going on tour, so I was bugging him, saying, will you hire me for that? So it was 1987 I got the job, worked with her for 20 years.
Wow.
In between
you went on tour with her?
Yeah, for 6 world tours.
That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy. I sang on a lot of her records, MTV Awards, a lot of the legendary performances and everything. So I did that, started making my own records though in 1989, releasing in Japan first, and then dance records, and then did my own solo album, MCA Universal, in 1993, 94. And then finally got off tour with her, and made my first indie album, because I got out of my deal. And then everything was just changing then. That was around 2000. And the way we all could kind of market ourselves on the internet, through our websites and everything. So that was a really good time, and I went on tour, in a van with my band, and I loved doing that. It was amazing, because on the Madonna tours, I would do the huge arena shows or sometimes stadiums, and then on a night off, I would play with my band. So Joe's Pub, wherever, if we were in New York City, and it was just super satisfying to just continue. That's
a great room, Joe's Pub.
Isn't it a great room?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. No,
I know. Exactly. I know you've played there, so.
I guess I have a couple times. But
then I just got into yoga and back to my spiritual studies and everything, but I never knew I could incorporate that into my music. I used to read Joseph Campbell constantly on tour, and Thich Nhat Hanh, and all kinds of people. It kept me sane on those tours.
Well, that's what I want to talk about, because the premise of this podcast is sort of spiritual based, but finding creative freedom through sort of spiritual practice, I would say, and just talking about certain, spiritual stumbling blocks and how to overcome them. But I want to really go back to when you started and what you like when your dad was trying to produce you when you were 15 and all that, and when you were like watching him have this sort of illustrious career. What did you witness in that, and did you see him or anyone in that of that ilk practicing any kind of spirituality that enabled them to live through that, or were they just like oblivious to that kind of thing, or what was your take on all that? And how much of it do you think affected you maybe negatively, and how much do you think affected positively, just being, you know, sort of immersed in that kind of music industry from that young?
Yeah, I don't want to forget. Remind me about Leon Russell, but because I watched him and my dad when we moved to Nashville sit down and play together, and it was like they were meditating, playing together. And my dad, when he played, he was completely like in a meditation. He got back into Latin music where he started, and he would play these riffs over and over again. Or come visit me, he would just play the same thing. It was a mantra on the piano. And that was just to grow up with a dad that was so creative, so happy when he was creating and following his bliss, and then being around, I mean, you know, there's nothing like being around musicians, creative people. They would come and hang out at our house, songwriters that my dad would be working with, you know, and I remember Karen Black, like just actresses and all kinds of people would come over. My dad, whether he was working with like Glenn Campbell, Paul Williams, I remember going to one of his concerts and hanging back.
Shout out Paul Williams. He
right?
keeps coming up. He keeps coming up. My friend Sandy just went and saw him in New York. Yeah, and I had a run-in with him way back in the day in LA because he was in the Musicians Assistance Program.
Yeah, isn't that great? And
helped me out at a certain point.
He loved my dad, so it was amazing to like have these people, to meet them and have them be, oh my God, your dad, you know, and then they were so open and accepting of me on this path.
Yeah,
and
course.
It didn't quite work for me in Nashville because honestly, like Tony Brown, when I was meeting with him at that age, he's like, you are not country.
Right.
He's like, you could stay around here and try to get an accent, but he's like, you're such an LA kid. And I loved Nashville because so different than LA. It wasn't as materialistic. And the people that I met, it's a college town. So I met like all these people that hung around Vanderbilt University. We went to the Surratt Cinema. We were watching like, you know, foreign films, and I was getting given books like Autobiography of a Yogi. Like that happened to me in Nashville.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Who gave you that book?
Oh, someone who was a med student.
Okay.
Someone I had met.
So, but you're kind of, there's a showbiz kid aspect then to you, because like I think of when I was 15 and like the big event that happened to me was taking acid with one of my sister's older friends in Cyberling Nature Park and listening to Rush, you know, and running through the nature park.
I was really into Rush.
In Akron, Ohio. I wasn't taking meetings where somebody was assessing whether I was LA or Nashville. Like that's a lot on a 15-year-old. What do you think the effect of that was, and how did you deal with it?
Oh my gosh, it was a lot. You know, my mom had just passed away and I was living with my mom, and then I went to live with my dad, and then we moved to Nashville. So I recently found journals of mine where I was talking about all these people that I met in Nashville and how I have to get meetings with them. And I mean, my dad was on that path, you know, and he needed to establish himself in Nashville. And I was like, I mean, I loved my dad more than anything. And I just wanted to be with him, and I wanted him to be successful. And I was going to go to Belmont University to study music business, actually. And, you know, because I always thought back, like, why didn't I go to college? You know, it didn't seem like it was an option. But going back and seeing these journals about, like, it's important to remember where you came from and what you wanted then and what your dream was. You know, and I've had to look at that a lot. Like, was this my dad's dream for me, or was it mine? You know, my dad, his journals I found when he passed were like, I hope Donna makes it really big and everything. And, you know, and I'm like, you know.
I think of that too. John Lennon talked about that a lot. Like, they wanted you to be a superstar. That whole like resenting the parents because they, and I definitely felt that in my family of origin too. Particularly, I feel like, not to pick on my mom. I love my mom. God bless my mom. But I felt like I felt a little of that from her end a little bit. Like maybe I don't even want to trash talk or anything. Not that it's trash talk, but it's just interesting how. Well, I think parents, in a way, too, they like want you to be successful. They want you to be able to like pay for food and stuff like that. And, your dad probably saw a music career as a good path for you.
Yeah, and there's this whole story because my grandfather was also a musician, and he was a singer, and he was like a child lead on Broadway and vaudeville star and everything, and then he got into the Warner Brothers Orchestra upright bass. So he was signed under contract for like 30 years. But before that, his dream was to be an opera singer. And we all grew up with this story. He went to France to study under this master. And because he was the son of a Frenchman, they wouldn't let him in without serving being in the service for a year, whatever it was. And he chose to come back, and he gave up on his dream. So we always had that story. Also, my mom was a singer dancer and kind of gave up on her dream in the 50s to have kids and everything. So I think my dad was obviously seeing that I had that potential, and even my Nana saw that in me, that I could stick with it and go for it. And even to a point of them discouraging me to even have a family and to just do that,
Yeah.
wanting me to stay with it. And then, of course, when you get a big job like that, everyone's so impressed. Everyone comes out of the woodworks, and my dad's ex-wife is like, "I'm so proud of you," and everybody, when they didn't even believe in you before. That's okay. Forgiveness.
Forgiveness is the sort of like main theme we're here to talk about. I
Yeah.
have this sort of, but your story is so super interesting. So it's like, and it's just has the history. Real, before we go to forgiveness though, like, and we could segue into forgiveness based off of family of origin stuff because we always need to forgive. Oh, one thing I also wanted to ask you is because, I have a 4-year-old daughter now, and I'm obviously like Mr. like musician artist guy around her too a lot. She sees, she's been to my shows and she sees paintings all over the place, and I sometimes think about that. Like, I wonder how good this is for her versus a more conventional sort of life. And it's good to hear that you took to your dad's creative pursuits and that was good for you to be around.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing, and we talked about this before, is just that you're following your bliss. And that
Right.
resonates. That's your electromagnetic frequency that's going out of your body, and they're feeling that. And
Hmm.
I mean, on so many levels, you're joyful, and they're seeing that, and it's
Right.
keeping you happy. And like, do you know when you go out on tour, and it's kind of, I always say it's so good for your soul, but it's hard on the body.
Hmm.
But you come back and your soul is so fulfilled for being out there and living your purpose and everything. But then you're kind of wasted, and you got to like get up the energy to you play with your kid and everything. But it's so important to have that balance and to not
Hmm.
feel. I don't feel. I waited so long to have kids that I really don't feel like I sacrificed my career. I was like late
Yeah.
30s.
Was almost 50 or 50 when I had my daughter. And so I don't feel like I sacrificed my career. And plus, I co-parent with her mom, and
Mm.
we do like a 50-50 thing. So I'm so used to that transition of having a few days in the week where it's all about I can just work, I can go do my yoga, I can go do all the things I want to do. And then like tomorrow, I'm gonna get her at 7:30 in the morning, and I'll have her for a few days, 3 or 4 days, and then it'll just be dad mode basically. So I'm used to that switch off. So going on tour is like, whoa, a whole bunch of time where I can just be an artist and really sort of like go back into that space. And then when I get back off the road, I'm back with her, and I find that transition not that difficult. It's like it's interesting though that being a dad, a single dad in that realm, is like I would say as hard of work as going on the road. It's work I love, but it's like tending to a 4-year-old, it's not exactly that easy.
Well, it's dealing with the hardest thing overall for me. I have two daughters, one 22 and one 16. She'll be 17 tomorrow. Is
Happy
just dealing
birthday.
with their emotions and their mental health, and I mean, and the stories and all this stuff. I mean, it's wow. More than the physical. I have found it's
Mm,
like, and I just covered this song, "Weight of Your World." It's a Chris Stapleton song.
mm.
Give me the weight of your world, lay it on me. It's like what I really want to. I heard that lyric and I'm like, I really want to say this to my daughter for what
Mm.
she's going through. My 17-year-old, that I can hold that weight for her. Um, but it's heavy. And looking back, like at the physical part of it, I think that the emotional part is definitely has been trying to stay positive and and stay in touch with who I am.
Hmm.
Because you're like a different person as a parent in a way. I
Mm.
don't know, just getting back to what you're about and being able to get back to your center.
Yeah, we're not on the super heavy duty emotional stuff yet because she's 4. So there is something,
Exactly.
she like had a dream about a monster the other night and then like she was afraid to go to sleep. And so it's like on that level. It's like it's not heavy.
Mm,
It's not, it's her version of heavy, but it's like not that it's not heavy lifting for me to like talk her through that kind of stuff. It's okay. So, did
yeah.
now your journey as a parent, did that help you come to terms? Well, have you forgiven your parents of their sort of ways maybe that they let you down? And if so, was your own experience being a parent, I'm assuming an imperfect parent, helpful in forgiving your own parents?
Yeah, so much. When I was reading your chapter, forgiveness, I mean, big time when my kids got to be teenagers around the age when my mom died. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was so heavy because I was there like watching my mom. And I was a teenager. I just wanted to be with the boys and hanging out with my friends and not dealing with that. So I moved with my dad when my mom was actually sick. So I actually held on to that, not forgiving myself first and foremost
Oh,
during
for
that.
bailing on your mom or
Yeah,
thinking that you bailed on your mom
for
or
sure. And then all I had to do was like really raise daughters and have them be that age and understand that they're trying to have their own life and everything.
hmm.
And I would never hold that against them. Just
Right.
and so that's been, I think, this underlying thing issue with, well, there's also like my mom died of cancer and I have the BRCA mutation and the whole thing.
Mm.
That I've through my life like lived with, like, oh, maybe that's going to happen to me too. But that aspect of when I think about like forgiving my mom, I was so compassionate towards her, of course, because she got sick and she passed, and then I felt so bad. My dad was always like the perfect one. He was the one that got us on the weekends, and he was the artist and the one that I identified more with,
Mm.
you know. But my dad was like, I had issues with him being, like a huge pot smoker, whatever it was, or his anxiety or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, Dad, hello, I'm here,
Those
you know?
those are things though. Like it's a trip. I just recently quit coffee and the nicotine pouches. And I
Hmm.
was like, because I was like full on into the nicotine pouches and there's also this sort of like vibe out there that nicotine pouches are great for
That's
you.
good for you. Yeah.
It's good for you now. That's the new thing. And
Yeah.
that like, and it helps with work. So I was doing these nicotine pouches like crazy. And
Yeah.
I was like thinking like, you throw them away, but some of them, sometimes they're on the bedside table and this, that, and the other, and I'm thinking like, how's this affecting my daughter? Like, just like she's seeing this addictive behavior. I'm aware that it's like, okay, it's nicotine. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is something. And honestly, I think I quit for a few reasons, but that was one of them. I didn't want to be an active addict in anything as much as possible around her at this age.
I did the same thing with drinking wine. Like, probably before I had my daughter, I'd have a glass of wine or two, whatever. I loved red wine. And I chose to not do that. Even when she was really little, I'm like,
Right.
I'm not gonna show her that I drink every night or even one drink. I was like,
Yeah.
no. And now it's really interesting because she says she appreciates that we didn't have like alcohol in the house and she didn't see me drinking.
Hmm.
Um, there were other issues and stuff with her, like her stepdad and stuff, um, but that she really appreciates, and she also appreciates like a lot of the choices we made around food and habits and values of like
Mm.
growing our own food and going to the farmers market and man, everything. That's what I can say. Like having a kid that's grown up, everything you do, it does matter.
I already know that. You
You
can
know it.
see, yeah, you can see the ways in which you are underdeveloped. They come back shining from this little being, and sometimes
Crazy.
not in the great ways. Sometimes in ways you know that you're actually doing some form of damage because of your own lack of development, which circles back to forgiveness because I'm on this like major giving up all addictions, getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning every day. Like I'm like on a really,
That's
you know,
amazing.
I'm on a good zone or whatever, right? Like, and then even when you think like that, I'm on a good zone, then suddenly your pride, it's like so weird because then all of a sudden you're in a bad zone because of your ego. But I'm not being egotistical about it. I forget where I was going with this. I'm in a good zone. Um, I
You're
forget.
giving up because you're giving up
Oh,
all this stuff.
to
Yeah.
give it, yeah. Oh, and I think the reason why I was saying is like the areas in which I need to grow become like, even though I'm in my 50s, the areas I need to grow, I'm not done growing. I don't like the process of life has not stopped because I'm in my 50s. Like, in a way, it's more alive and vibrant than ever because I do have this being that's reflecting areas where I do need to like step it up. And after a while, you just get sick of not stepping it up in those ways. And so you finally do. But I think forgiving yourself and forgiving everybody else and ho'oponopono and all that kind of stuff leads to the ability to do that, to get outside of sort of self-limiting beliefs, addictive behavior, things that stand between you and realizing your potential. What do you think to that? How important do you agree that maybe the root cause of writer's block and those kind of issues is unresolved anger?
Wow, it could be. I mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely grew up with no matter what I did, with my career and everything, I always or songwriting. I think as my dad was such a great musician, I always thought I'm not a songwriter. So the first time I wrote a song was with this guy Bruce Geitz, who was a guitar player who just gave me some music. He's like, "Oh, see what you can do with this." But I still didn't consider myself a songwriter, even though I came back with a melody and a lyric. And now when I listen to it, it's like one of my best songs. And I know those kinds of things you have to like do it and do it to build your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel that. I still kind of hear that voice sometimes, but it's like not listening to it and just knowing like you've lived long enough, you know that what your passion is and you're going to just forge ahead no matter what. And so what if it sucks? I mean, whatever. It was the process of creating that day. But for me, like sitting down at the piano or something, I could never plan when it was going to happen. That's why I never really got into writing for other people because I didn't feel like I could just show up that day and like write a song with someone. But maybe that's discipline. It's like you just have to do it.
I think so.
You
I,
could speak a lot
I,
on that.
Yeah, I think it is discipline and that you just have to do it. But where do you like what I find interesting is those voices like that are telling you you're not a songwriter or just throwing in all kinds of limitations. Like, what is that? Why do we all have that? When I think of my daughter and we go to like the Idea Museum, which is like
Mm,
a arts and crafts, like amazingness for kids. By the way, they have like amazing things for kids in Arizona, or
that's
just
so great.
nowadays they have amazing things for kids. They didn't seem to have those back in my day, but
Hmm.
so it's just like this arts and crafts amazingness. And there's never a time we go there where she's just like, I'm not really feeling it. I can't.
Right.
I'm in my head. I'm like, I'm just kind of like whatever. Like, no, it's like it's just running from one crafts table to the next, making stuff. It's constant creativity. And it's that way with her food. It's that way with everything. And so I just think that's human
Yeah.
nature. I mean, she might be a very creative kid, who knows? But I think that's just the nature of kids and the nature of humans is to be creative. And then as when we become adults, when we become older teenagers and whatnot, then all of a sudden, all these voices, the spirit war. I mean, our battle
Hmm.
is with principalities, not with flesh and blood. If you believe that, it's demonic in nature. Or if you believe in a psychological model, it's broken psychology in nature. Either way, it amounts to the same thing. What's with all these negative voices that limit us? What do you think?
Wow. Um, I think it's just like a tape that goes round and round. And now I see it in my 17-year-old. No matter how I told her you could do anything, I mean, I've always been so supportive and giving her, always being there, telling her how smart she is and how creative she is, everything. But she has her own path and she's got to deal with these voices and with this anxiety and everything and depression. And I don't know. I honestly, I don't know where it came from. She had trauma. She broke her back actually in 4 years ago. So there's that whole thing about chronic pain now where it's just in your mind. Even when the pain in the body is gone, your brain is still giving you signals that it's there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, and there's a book on that I need to read, but we're kind of dealing with that and trying to get to the bottom of that. Gosh, I feel like the way I deal with it with myself is self-love and just always being proud of myself, like doing things every day that I could be like, I'm so proud of you for going to the gym and sitting down at the piano and doing what you love and you love reading and you got some time to read today. And I mean, my saving grace is the gratitude for every morning waking up and being alive. And I went through a life-threatening illness, got through to the other side, which was a huge healing with the whole thing with my mom too. Do you know what I mean? Like my story is not her story,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and
So
I
you could
get
let
to
that go.
love myself and forgive myself like my mom couldn't. And there's reasons why she got sick and everything, but that's her thing. Um, it's interesting though. I realize now reading those old journals how much more of those voices I heard then. It wasn't all the time, but specifically, I think because my dad was like such a virtuoso, and I'd sit down at the piano and play my little chords that I learned that were pretty simple. And my dad would also say, "Let me show you some more chords," you know. And then I would take it like, "Oh, what I'm doing is not good enough, Dad."
Mm-hmm.
I was always like really hypersensitive.
Yeah, my daughter already is. It reminds me, like when you're talking about your daughter's depression, I watch, and it's like the 4-year-old version, but she used to run up to every kid on the playground and say, "Want to be my best friend? Want to be my best friend?" Like just like into a pack of girls. Want to be? Let's go. Let's play. Let's play. And then you see things shift. All of a sudden, she's like more to herself, more afraid. And I'm like, "Hey, sweetie, did something happen? Was somebody mean to you?" And then she says,
Mm,
yes. And then so life comes in. And then I'm like, well, not everybody's going to be your friend. And you try to like talk out of like being shy, but it's amazing the way you try to make friends, keep doing it. Then you see them try, and then there's mean girls on the playground, and you're like, like
oh my God, the
it's like
bullying and the whole thing. I'm just like,
it's
what?
crazy, like, and you're just
It's
watching
real.
it.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
when you're saying your dad coming up to you saying like I want to teach you some other chords, I do the same thing with my daughter now. Like when she'll pick up the ukulele or little instruments I have for her, and I'll say like, "Hey, I want to start teaching you stuff," and she'll right away go no, and put it down and doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to like. It's a
Isn't that
weird.
interesting?
It is. It's like it reminds me of exactly your reaction. Yours is the older teenager reaction, or
Yeah.
like but I guess that kind of circles back to the point I'm trying to make is that human nature from 4 years old to 54 years old is rife with like this light and dark, this
Yeah,
thing like
absolutely.
where we could all just be
Pairs of
sort of
opposites.
boundlessly creative, and yet there's this darkness, like what is the Will Ullman song? And then I see a darkness. It's like there's something in our head preventing us. And then I feel like you and I are similar in that we've graduated to this level of age and whatever where we are, where we're kind of like self-forgiving and working on self-love and all that kind of stuff, and congratulating ourselves when we're doing okay. But there's that whole period, like what your daughters are facing, where
Hmm.
maybe it's a little bit more difficult.
And to try to imagine growing up right now in this time with technology, and no matter how much we fought for our our 17-year-old to not have TikTok and Snapchat, the peer pressure is so intense. Like everyone else is on it, but they're not. And then you start weighing out like
Mm.
what's more important, that they're part of the group or the one outside and they're getting bullied and everything. Oh my gosh, I just try to embody as much love as I can and understanding and listening and know that like she has her own path that's not mine. Um, but something that came up when you were saying about the darkness and the light, there's I love this guy. His name's East Forest. He's a really
Hmm.
great artist. He does a lot of music for ceremonies and mushrooms and everything.
Mm.
Um, and so he made a record using Ram Dass's. He went to Maui when Ram Dass was alive and he recorded him. So he uses a lot of wisdom in the music.
Mm.
And I love this one that says, he says, love your dark thoughts.
Love your
And
dark thoughts.
yeah, it's just like embrace all that you are because you're always going to have that. It's part of you.
Mm.
And loving it doesn't mean you have to listen to it or take action on it. It's like, okay, thank you. It's like maybe that thought is here to protect me, or to warn, maybe it is coming from some kind of intuitive place, but I don't need to be fearful right now, you
Yeah,
know.
but I don't. I get like love your dark thoughts in that love the whole span of what it is to
Yeah,
be human. But I
right.
do think those dark thoughts are not your friend. Like they're really, really trying to take you out. I do feel like there are forces that are like the stakes here are very real,
Mhm.
as evidenced by what most humanity or what a lot of humanity goes through, that they don't fulfill or the Thoreau thing. Most men live lives of quiet desperation and go to their grave with their songs still inside them. It's
Oh my
like,
gosh, yeah.
and I got a bunch of my songs still inside me too. Like
So do I. Yeah.
right. And it's like I'm like I'm in this sort of do-gooder vibe right now, but a part of that is because I'm over getting duped by the dark side. I'm over it. I'm like, no,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
I don't want to write about that. I mean, I may write like I write about a lot of my dreams and it's like subconscious and diving into the water and that's into the soul, being in a relationship and are we going to go into the water and go to this deep place and everything, but and acknowledging struggles, but I don't for so long I've not been into writing stuff like that because music to me is mantra and you're saying it over and over again and I don't know, I just kind of want to you know, resonate at a higher vibration. And that's also why I do mantras.
Is that where I mean, because I almost think of you in those terms. Like I think of you as sort of a healer, like a healing energy,
Mhm.
like you come across that way to me. Um,
That's
s-
sweet.
yeah, it's just the truth. I don't, is that, do you think what you're going to be doing more and more of as you progress?
I think I always will. Like I'll hear songs I might want to cover, like your song In the Sun, or a lot of other songs that I just feel like I have to because I'm a singer first and foremost. I want to sing something I want to say. So it could be in English or whatever. But the mantras and making I've been making stuff that is like for meditation and for yoga and working with different electronic remixers and everything. It takes me to this different place, to a more meditative state. And I don't know, it's expansive. And I think I'll always do that. I think I'll always do that. I was going to bring up that last week, I started playing guitar again, just playing my chords so I could sing to it. And my husband's father was on his deathbed, but he was on the East Coast. So we were calling him every morning. And I was singing to him any country song I could think of, which is all pretty much the same chords. And what was the way my voice was coming out was my purpose, it was lately I've kind of been, I feel like having problems with my higher register and going and having this anxiety that my voice is changing. And you think about Linda Ronstadt or other singers getting older, and I'm just have to accept it and go lower. But I was there in the situation. It was just soul to soul. And I was singing to his dad, and he was kind of in a coma, but moving his lips a little bit as I was singing, because he loved bluegrass and country music. And I just felt such a sense of purpose. I need to do this. I need to go and sit next to people in hospice and do this. And, I need to share, I have this gift, and it's great to record and get it out to people that way. But to be there in person with that intention and just pure love. And, I don't know. It's something I was I need to do this more,
Are you going to try to facilitate that? Are you going to try to make that happen?
Yeah. I mean, I have before, with family members, and it always seems to be somebody calls me in, they're my old manager, one of my best friends, her mom was passing, and she's like, Donna, will you come over and play for her? But it was during COVID. So they had me right outside the sliding doors with my harmonium. And it was beautiful, and I was like, should I do a mantra? I mean, they were Jewish, and I'm like, should I do a mantra? Whatever. They're like, it's all vibration. She loves your voice. Please. Thank you for being here, and it really is.
Yeah. I have my harmonium. Where is it? It's right here. Tuned to 432.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Right here.
Oh, you make it seem so little. You just pick it up
I'm a big guy.
But, yeah, I have a smaller one for traveling now, so that's good.
Yeah.
I love the harmonium. Everything changed for me when I started playing that, because I had my whole band, started playing that, and then the band just kind of got smaller, and it ended up being harmonium and cello.
And so it just lends itself to meditations and
doesn't it?
I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. One of these days we got to do a mantra.
Oh, yeah.
Mantra record.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, if you just play the changes and I can improv over it, that would be incredible. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Can we do it right here, you think?
Yeah.
All right.
Throw some verb on it later.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
That's so fun sometimes to have a bunch of verb and delay.
I could probably do it now.
The chords to In the Sun?
I don't know it on the harmonium.
You don't?
Yeah.
I do. I'll tell you.
You do? You know it?
E minor, E flat. Is it B flat?
Oh, man.
G minor, E flat.
I can't do it right now. It's too much. I could do it on guitar, though. Can you do it?
Yeah, we can do it. I always You know, if you like do like a soft kind of picking thing with the chords, I always, years ago, when I was doing that song, I'll tell you what I sang over the song before I knew the whole Oponopono.
Do you have your sound for musicians on? Put it on.
Oh dear.
Go to the upper right of your window there. Scroll, it says original sound for musicians.
Oh, it's off. Huh.
Yeah, put it on.
Okay, it's on.
Okay. All right, you do something within the sun.
So here's
Ready?
what I did. Just give me a minute to get into it. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. Forgive me. Forgive me. All I want is to love you. Live in me. Live in me. All I want is to be one with you. Forgive me. Forgive me. May God's love be with you. Always. Always. With you.
Yeah, I love that. Now you're gonna give me ideas on how to expand that.
Yeah,
When
but
I go
isn't
do
that
that.
great? I just always forgive me. All I want is to love you. You know, it's like no matter how much I screw up, my soul wants to love you. You know, it's like
Yeah. Well, I think it's just now I'm just like super keyed in on the fact that most stumbling blocks I feel like are rooted in unresolved anger. So I just make forgiveness. You were saying earlier on the phone, forgiveness is basically a work that we have to do, a sort of a daily work, and I really think so. Do you have any kind of like morning routines, like a meditation thing, or anything you do daily, like to like battle the negative voices that might arise?
Yeah, well, thank God I don't have like negative voices going all the time. I think it might be like when I'm writing something, you know, something might come in like whatever, like those changes aren't this or that, or just being self-critical.
Mm-hmm.
When I get up, I am just so grateful to be alive, first of all. And I just take a lot of time just to be like fully present in myself. I go outside barefoot, we're renting a house right now, so there's a big like flat. We were in Topanga before, and you couldn't just walk out on pavers or anything. So walk outside barefoot. I go on this property in Agora. There are these huge pine trees. So I put a bench under the trees, and I like pretend like I'm in the forest. And I just sit there like with my cup of tea and just practice mindfulness and have some time to meditate there. And just like I just ease into my day slowly. Obviously don't turn on the computer and everything. And then I just kind of see like, am I in that creative space, or do I want to like get right into like working out and going to the gym? What am I feeling, or do I want to like get in the sauna? Depending on how I'm feeling. So I just check in every day, like, okay, this is my energy today, and not being like hard on myself because maybe I feel tired. You know, it's like, okay, what can we do to like make ourselves feel better? So maybe I'll take the sauna or something, or go to the gym, and just, you know the tools that work for you to make yourself get out of that space if you feel foggy or maybe just a little down. And
So you don't have you don't have negative voices operating like right from when you get up. You come up into life in a positive zone basically automatically.
Yeah, I mean, I also, survived a life-threatening illness, which was like 4 years ago. I could have been like,
right.
Yeah, and got through that, and that changed everything for me.
How did that change everything?
Oh my gosh. Because I thought that could be it for me then, and I had
Right.
to like make my peace with God, with uncertainty. And that was like huge. And it's still, of course, I go in and get tests and everything, waiting for the results. It's easy to go into that place of fear. but there's something in me that I know everything's okay and it's going to be okay no matter what.
Was it cancer?
Yeah.
And
ovarian cancer.
Oh, it all got cleared away.
You know, and I'd watch my mom go. My sister died of ovarian cancer at 49. You know, it was just like, oh my God.
Right.
So it was like all those deep beliefs probably from when my mom passed that like I identified with her too. And then like I pushed off getting that genetic test forever because I didn't want it to be in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then I did, and of course it freaked me out. Yeah, and I had like a preventative surgery, but it still happened because this had to happen. That's how I look at it now. I remember a friend of mine, when I told them that, they were like, wow, you're really going to make some powerful music now. That's what she said. You know, she just like saw it as something positive. Like,
was she right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And did you go a traditional way to deal with it, like the medical system, or did you go sort of the, sort of naturopath ways, or did you do a combination of both? How did you deal with it?
I did a combination. I had really like such bad symptoms that I needed like help very quickly. I did a combination. Yeah. And I did like hyperthermia and I mean, anything that there's so much information, so anything resonated with me, I did. And one thing that resonated with me was the electromagnetic frequencies, like to protect myself at night when I'm sleeping. So the tent that blocks out any kind of, EMFs that are coming at you.
Oh, you do that.
Trying to heal, so I have that. And then the sauna was just like, I don't know, I got this sauna that's like this canvas tent, and the near-infrared lights inside. I just went in there and I put on like super amazing meditative music, and it was like, that was my meditation spot.
That's where I do it. That's where I do it. I'm going to go right after this to the place down the street, which is an infrared sauna, cold plunge. They have biocharger, red light therapy. And that's where I do like at least an hour of meditation every day because I'm just in the sauna that long.
Exactly. And that's definitely my favorite place to meditate.
Me too.
I mean, it's a sure thing. When people are like, I can't sleep or whatever, I'm like, sauna. I mean, I just tell everyone sauna,
Yeah.
sauna. And they're like, how much are those things? I'm like, it's worth every penny.
Right.
If you can get your own, I just like, I have all my drinks lined up, my electrolytes and the whole thing. It's like such a ritual.
So you have your rituals, but it's kind of a loose, like you can wake up and be like, what do I feel like? I'm a little bit more regimented with it.
I know you are. And I wish I was more like that.
No, I don't think there's a right way. I think it sounds like you have your things and it's almost like a potpourri. You wake up and you're like, I'm going to go this route today.
Yeah, sometimes I jump in the freezing cold pool. It's like, okay, I need to jump in the cold pool.
Right.
Like, I just need to really wake up here. Yeah.
So how would you say, okay, so, because I have like some people close to me facing medical stuff right now too. And it's crazy because they don't, I mean, I love them dearly. They don't really have an active, like, sort of, they don't come off as actively spiritual. I don't want to say they're not spiritual because who am I to say? Maybe the most spiritual people are the ones that say they don't really follow any religion. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to judge whatever anybody else is doing. So I don't want to say that. But they don't have an active, like for me, I'm like actively praying all the time and like sort of leaning on higher power, God, Jesus, everything I can in the spirit realm all the time. Like that's, I don't know how you do it without that. And you seem to be someone maybe similar in that way. So I'm wondering how, when you had this life-threatening stuff go down, what was that internal conversation like to get right with God at that point? I mean, maybe that's not any question you want to answer, which is also fine, but I'm curious.
It's the gratitude. And like I said, it's that being at peace with uncertainty. So there's so much that you can do, but then there's the thy will be done, you know? And that I don't know. Even on some level, I'm like, maybe this is a lesson I have to learn. Obviously, it's a lesson I have to learn. But maybe going right now is,
okay.
It's for the greatest good of all.
And who knows where we're going when we go.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it could be like you graduate to the next level of amazingness,
Exactly. And but I have, my friend who passed, David Newman, of a brain tumor last year, when he had the stroke from the tumor and we got on the phone, it was like our last conversation. The one thing he said to me was, Donna, you're a warrior.
Mm.
And he kind of was saying, like, you have this spirit and this, you're going to do whatever you can do. And you'll just get the discipline, you'll do it, you'll go for it. Completely, like with the diet, I've been so committed and everything. But he was kind of saying, like, he wasn't a warrior, and I feel like he was so spiritually evolved that he was kind of like, it's fine, there's no judgment, if it's my time, I have my guru, I'm going to my guru's arms. I just recently spoke to a guy that said, I'm psyched to meet my savior, and, he's like, but I have a lot to do before that. Not that you have to, not everyone has to look forward to dying, but to not dread it, and to not, the fear I had to really identify, like, is this the fear that I got from my mom and my sister, from lives that were unfulfilled, that they, you know what I mean? And it was really about regret when they were passing. And that was like what I was having such a hard time with. Like, as my sister on her deathbed was talking about regrets and regret, like going back, scanning her life. And I live every day like, I don't want to have those regrets.
Right.
I really think of that.
Yeah, but I mean, I do have regrets, but it's weird. Like, I have regrets, but I feel like I can maybe overcome them.
So what is a regret for you? Like what?
Well, there's a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas in terms of, like, how I handled the opportunities I had when I was younger, for instance, like that, But the thing is that could all be undone by where I go from here, and where I am. And it almost seems like it's not fully a regret. It's only a regret if I'm not living in my purpose in the moment. Once I'm back in my purpose in the moment, I no longer really regret it because I'm on like this adventure. And right? So it's almost like
relate to that.
It's almost like a moment by moment whether I have regret or not. And if I'm sort of just living a life of hedonism and escape, then yeah, I'm full of regret. But if I'm not, like the way I've been sort of living lately, feeling like I have a purpose and a sense of things and a lot of activity. Of course, there's little annoying regrets even within that. But primarily, there is no regret then.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And it's like, okay, do it now,
Right.
Like with my daughters, Sometimes I think, oh, I got my second daughter, I hired this nanny like at Omega Institute. She was like 19-year-old whimsical girl who played the ukulele and everything. And I was like, I'm having a baby. Will you come be her nanny?
A girl with a ukulele. It's like, I mean, she was need like, that.
Nanny Faye, I'm Nanny Faye, and everything. And I was like, that's who I want to be.
I want to be that too. I want to be a 19-year-old girl with a ukulele, looking after so babies.
Cool. I totally spotted her in the cafeteria at Omega, and I was like, she's cool. Because I wanted like these super artsy kids and everything, of course. And
right.
So she was with my daughter, a long time, and I was like run into the studio because I had to like keep working on music and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I wish I would have played with her more. I'm like, why didn't I just play? But it's like, how many times can you make dolls talk? And it's like, I don't know. That gets monotonous too, and it's like enough.
It
of this.
does,
and I'm another kid.
I'm in that phase now to where like I'll like sometimes be like doing something, and she'll go, "Daddy, come play with me," and it'll be like, yeah, I always make sure I do, But yeah, it's not always that fun because especially a lot of times they go off into their own imagination and then you're just sitting there holding a Barbie and it's like
Exactly.
watching
like
them
trying
talk to themselves for like 20 minutes and you're like, okay, are we done now? Or like...
It's so true. And my daughter, though, but now that, like, my older daughter's 22, she's like going over everything from her childhood, and she's a nanny to some kids. So
with a
stuff is
ukulele,
coming up
probably.
for her, right? Not really.
Get
and
her
it's
one.
funny because neither one of my kids end up being like artists, but
Yeah.
they're artistic, but not artists. But she's going over it and everything, and I just keep thinking, like, if I didn't spend that time with her then, or I was on tour or whatever, it's like she's 22, I can do it now. And I just went there for 4 days to hang out with her, and it was like day after day just hanging out, going on walks and talking, and we haven't done that like ever, where it's just the two of us, and you get to like have this new relationship. It's so beautiful, but it's so great to have those things to reference back to.
I just saw this thing with Aaron Paul from the Breaking Bad, the kid that was in Breaking Bad. I don't know if you remember that show.
I don't.
Anyway, he's a great actor. And he was talking about being on the cell phone around his daughter, and he was like finishing up an email. And he was like, wait 1 minute, sweetie. And then it was like, blah, blah, blah. And then he watched her do something like Go Away, Forlorn or something. And then he went to her and said, I'm going to make a promise now that I'm never going to be on the cell phone around you again. And she went, yay, do you mean it? Yay. And then kissed him. That's the story he told. I'm paraphrasing. And so I'm watching that story and I'm like going like, yeah, I should just never be on the cell phone. And then I realized there's no way. I'm like a single dad, like with my daughter. I don't put her in daycare or have a nanny ever. So there's just gonna be times when I need to like do a few things here and there. But it's
you're
like
coordinating play dates. My God, the play
anything.
dates.
There's no way where I could make like a grandiose statement where I'm just never gonna. And I realize it's like a balance thing. It's like, yes, as long as I don't have to be like super dad all the time. Like as long as I'm am cognizant of the fact that yes, you should play with her every single day, a bunch, but at the same time you're going to have to also do a few things here and there, and sometimes she's going to have to be like, hey, no, daddy's got to do something real quick. So it's I like, yeah, I'm not trying to be too extreme in that, and like forgiving of the just what life is, it
is, and this is what it is now,
right?
And you can be strategic with it, like you're going to the playground, she's going to engage.
Exactly.
And that's when you do it. Or,
right.
Or when she's in her little ballet class or something.
Oh, yeah, there's times. It's not that hard. And plus, like, kids are, like, she's smart. I mean, she understands that sometimes I have to do something. So a lot of times she wants to do something. A lot of times she doesn't want me to play with her. A lot of times she wants me to go away, go away, go do something else, So it's like,
how does that make you feel when she wants you?
I don't care at all. It never hits me emotionally at all. And in fact, I did, like rarely have. It doesn't do that to me. I am like I understand. She needs to develop. She needs to develop her independence. She needs to develop. When she's rebellious, I understand that's a good sign of development as well. Like, so I take them all in stride. You know what I mean? Yeah. I never take it personally. Maybe a handful of times she's ever gotten me like to take something she's done personally. Really, not more than 2 handfuls. 1 handful.
That's great.
Yeah, that's the advantage of doing this when you're older. I think when I was younger, I wouldn't have had that resilience.
And and then you get a little glimpse on what it's going to be like when they're teenagers, and
oh yeah,
and when it's like, I mean, it's crazy.
I bet.
My daughter is like, she has a car now and she drives.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the last thing that she needed me for.
Right.
And every once in a while, need to talk to me. But it's definitely not like both my daughters are really independent.
Of course, my daughter's going to be like that. I'm already pre-prepared for that. I assume that. I already know that's coming. Yeah. Like that's fine. Like that would be a healthy sign,
You, yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully I have like a rich creative life, and it keeps evolving. So, art, as artists, there is no sort of retirement for us. There's no off switch. I mean, like your dad, going back to your dad, is he still alive or is he gone? No,
he passed away in 2012 in my arms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I remember you telling me that. Now, did he ever stop making music or stop making art?
No. And when he was like in hospice at my house on the piano, it was so interesting. He was always in A minor. He would sit down and always
me too.
play.
I'm stuck in A minor.
Yeah, I mean, it was so interesting. And then,
well, it's also got no sharps or flats. Like you tried to get me to do In the Sun on the
oh yeah, that's so funny.
with some flats already. I'm like, I'm not doing that right now, Donna. Come on.
That is so fun. That's just
Let me stick in A minor where it's all white keys, okay?
Exactly. That's so funny. Use the capo.
Yeah.
I've never used a capo, and I took a guitar lesson. The guy's like, you got to use a capo. Like, everything will be so much easier.
I do. I cheat.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my dad, like, there was a regret. I have to say that I didn't record him at the end when he was just freestyling. I moved him to a place in Santa Monica where it's like this because he thought it was a hotel. It was called the Ocean House, and he had dementia. So, but I got his baby grand piano in there, and I'd come in there and he would be playing. It was the most beautiful music. I kept thinking, I've got to get him in the studio. So that is something that I would love to hear now. When I listen to his Latin jazz salsa records, like I love to hear my dad play. Yeah. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Beautiful.
Well, I don't know. I think we kind of covered a lot. It's fun. I could keep talking to you, but I got to go do the sauna and the cold plunge. And then I'm going to go do a yin yoga class at night. You ever do yin?
Yes. Well, if I come there to visit, I want to do that routine.
Okay, if you come here or when you come here, let's make at least like a mantra song EP.
No, it would be so great.
We could easily do it.
Honestly, I keep seeing things, or I saw some random thing it was in the airport in Portland where they do those. It's like a little theater, and they have the little tiny shorts, and they were just saying this moment, and this moment, and this moment. It was kind of like this, just meditation to keep you in the moment, but you keep saying this moment, this moment, and this moment. And
what if I do something on my harmonium and send it to you just for the heck of it?
Yeah, you should.
Let's do it. We've talked about it.
Or even just layered, ambient guitars would be really cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Just anything that, yeah.
Let's do something.
Anything that I can write over, talk over, whatever. Yeah. And I like I sent you some of those ideas too. That wisdom that is just be so nice to put into song.
Okay.
But also listen to that East Forest record he did with Ram Dass, because it's some really nice ideas in there too of like.
I like Ram Dass. Be Here Now.
Exactly.
And after he had his stroke too, he never sort of lost his aura.
Not at all.
Not at all.
He's brilliant.
Yeah. Cool dude. Rich kid too.
I know.
Right?
I visited him. I did an event with him in Maui. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, I keep hearing about you. He was
wow.
Smart. Yeah.
Well, let's do something, Donna. Thanks for doing the podcast, the second episode.
Of course. I like your background. It's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, this is the one I had back in the TNT days, and it's fun. It's fun. I like broadcasting. It's interesting. It's we'll see where it goes, but I like the idea of talking about sort of centering around, creative stumbling blocks and sort of spiritual solutions.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yay. All right. Well, tell everyone if you want, like, your social thing or where people can find you and all that.
Okay, so you can find me DonnaDeLory.com. everything's there.
All right.
Gone to your favorite place to follow, and I've lots of music out there. So just start listening.
Yeah. All right, Donna.
Like I go through your music that way.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
It's all really great. Okay.
All right, Donna.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. We'll see you later.